Hi everyone, my name is Aaron Prosper. I'm from the Pascale First Nation, but I currently reside here in Dartmouth. And I will say, our Member of Parliament, Darren, us Dartmouthonians are quite proud of our town, very proud. So I'm a very proud member of the community here in Dartmouth for the last 5 years. But my home community, my roots are in Pascale First Nation. I'm very honored today to be your MC for these events. And every time I'm called upon or asked to MC any sort of event, I often like to give a very short and brief teaching or history lesson. One of the things I do is I teach Intro Mi'kmaq Studies at Dalhousie University. And this is one of the subjects that we cover quite a bit. It's quite fitting and quite important that these canoe events take place on this particular lake, Lake Bannock. Bannock is a Mi'kmaq word meaning the first lake. And why this particular waterway in this particular lake is so important is that it was actually central to our peace and friendship treaties. This particular waterway, the Shubenacadie Canal, is actually referenced in Clause 4 of the 1752 treaty, and it was an important trade route for Mi'kmaq people as they would come from their inland communities all the way into the city of Halifax, and it would actually end at the very end where you see we actually live today at King's Wharf. That is the very mouth of the Shubenacadie Canal, and our community members would pass through this many times as they would come into the city of Halifax. They would trade, they would negotiate. This is the route that Mi'kmaq people would use to come into Halifax and negotiate many of those treaties that we signed here that are so important to our community members. And so it's fitting that this week and these events for this canoes and our kayaking events are actually taking place on that very lake. And so I wanted to share a little bit of that history and how important this lake is to us as Ulnu. Ulnu, that word, that's what we call ourselves, the Mi'kmaq people. Ulnu, what it means is the people. It actually comes from the Mi'kmaq word nilnu, meaning my tongue. And so what makes the people? Well, it's what comes off of your tongue. And that is how you hold yourself, how you embody yourself as an Indigenous person. That's what that word means. And so with that, again, a big welcome and thank you to all our dignitaries, our Grand Council, our Sante Mawiomi, and our elders all here today. And I believe the first on the list, we have Chief Norman from Wagmatcook First Nation will be our first speaker today, so I would like to welcome Chief Norman.
Hola, Aaron. Thank you, Aaron. Good morning to everyone. My name is Norman Bernard, and I am the Chief of Wagmatcook First Nation. I am also the President of Mi'kmaq Sports Council of Nova Scotia. I'm honored to be here with you today, and I welcome everyone to our canoe and kayak competition of NAIG 2023. The Mi'kmaq word for canoe is gwydn. As you know, we already noticed our NAIG logo has a canoe on it. We are very proud of our design. I'm honored to have our Premier Minister Justin Trudeau with us here today this morning at this event. I would like to acknowledge all the paddlers who are competing this week. I ask you to stay positive in your competitors. Enjoy the scenery here at Lake Bannock. You will have many people cheering on you, and the spirit of ancestors will guide you through the whole event. This is one of the finest facilities in the country, and I am sure you will be making great memories. Since time immemorial, my people, the Mi'kmaq, have paddled these waters, and today we are here today again. I am most definite the spirits of our ancestors are here with us. I welcome them, and of course, I welcome all Indigenous nations. I and many others encourage you to do your best, no matter what the outcomes of your race. Let your competitive spirit shine bright. Remember your moments and take them home with pride. On behalf of Mi'kmaq chiefs and all Mi'kmaqi, I thank you for coming and best of luck to all. Walalio.
Walaliak Norman. The next guest I would like to invite, and I should premise this by saying I I believe about 2 years ago, we had a historic event where a number of our Mi'kmaq communities here in Atlantic Canada acquired 50% of the largest seafood company within, I believe, Canada, or one of the largest seafood companies in Canada, that being Clearwater Seafoods. And so with that, I would like to invite the Vice President of Human Global Affairs, Dieter Gauci of Clearwater.
Good morning. I'm here on behalf of Clearwater to welcome you to this event today. Clearwater has been founded about 50 years ago here locally, and today Clearwater is proudly Indigenous owned and one of the world's biggest seafood company. To the athletes, embrace today, you will remember it forever. Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you, Dieter. And I forgot to mention that Clearwater is actually one of our sponsors for this particular venue in our event today. And so we thank Clearwater for all of their support of our communities. Walalio. Or Walalieg. Next, I'd like to invite, I believe the next speaker is, I should say, I premise this with saying my one condition to MC was to get a selfie at some point. So I'm going to throw that out there, make sure I get that selfie at some point. But all that being said, I would like to invite our Minister for Sports, our Federal Minister for Sports, Pascale St-Onge, and she will be introducing our Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau.
Hello and good morning, everyone. Thank you so much, Aaron, for those kind words of introduction. Je suis très heureuse d'être ici pour les Jeux autochtones nord-américains 2023. And I want to start by saying how special and honored I am to be here for this very special event and games. I'd like to start by acknowledging that we're here today in the traditional territory of Mi'kmaq, the homeland of unceded and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. I'm so excited for the opportunity to watch so many incredible, talented, hardworking young people come and compete at the highest levels. These games, of course, aren't just about competition and the celebration of sport. It's also a celebration of Indigenous culture and heritage. A chance for all of you to come together and showcase everything that makes Indigenous culture such a vital part of our country. So thank you so much for sharing everything with us. And with that, I would like to welcome someone who really needs no introduction. And I know that as someone who's an avid canoeer himself, he's especially excited to be here with us today. He's always been a huge believer in the power that sport has to bring communities together, bring nations together, and give us the opportunity for us to be the best that we can. Un grand allié, un supporter pour le sport autochtone partout au pays. Please join me in welcoming our Prime Minister Justin Trudeau.
Merci Pascal pour ces belles paroles et surtout pour ton travail exceptionnel comme ministre du Sport. Thank you all for gathering here this morning and mostly for giving me an opportunity, not just to say a few words here, that's typical for a politician, but thank you for giving me the opportunity to start the day with a paddle. There is nothing like starting the day in a canoe. It sets off not just the day, but the entire week in the right way, and that's exactly what we're celebrating right here. But I was reflecting on it. Why is paddling so important? Why is the canoe so important to me and to so many Mi'kmaq people, to so many Indigenous people across this country? It requires a few different things. It requires, first of all, for you to be in balance. If you're not centered in where you are, in who you are, and in how you move, your first step into a canoe might be the first step towards a swim. You need to know where you are, how you position yourselves. You also need to be in balance with the world around you, with the waves, with the wind, with the universe and what the Creator is sending at us. If you're not alert to what's going on around you, again, you're going for a swim instead of a canoe. And you have to be in balance with your partner, whether it's a team or whether it's one other person in the canoe with you. You have to be in rhythm. You have to be aware of others. And that strength, that ability in a canoe that forces you, if you're going to be any good in it, if you're going to be able to enjoy it, to be in harmony and connection with the world around you is one of those things that is so, it's odd to say grounding when you're talking about something on the water, but it is. It's grounding. It gets you centered in where you need to be and starts you off on the day or on the journey in the right way. And the second part of why a canoe is so important to me is because before there were roads and highways, the rivers and waterways of this continent were the roads and highways that Indigenous people used for millennia to connect with each other, to learn from each other, to trade, to prosper, to grow, and to be. And that idea of the journey in a canoe, of going to meet one another, of learning from each other, of drawing strength from the world around us in that, is hugely important, not just over the past millennia, but today as well. Just think of what a better place the world might be if all of us spent a little bit of time every day in a canoe. It would be a much, much better place. So for me to be able to be with you here today, starting off that way was really a privilege. But it's also a privilege to be able to see all these extraordinary young people who are out there in canoes and kayaks, competing with each other, but also growing themselves, developing their capacity to have an impact on the world around them as they travel through it. And yes, the competition's important, and I look forward to seeing everyone cheer on the winners on this stage, at the end, on this podium at the end of the day, at the end of the competitions. But every single moment that we are here together, learning from each other, challenging from each other, we are growing, we are creating a better world. And what I said last night about young people, these young Indigenous people carrying the future for all of us into the coming decades is so important, inspiring, and comforting as well, because the incredible young people we see here today mean the future is in very good hands. Alors, c'est un grand privilège, un grand plaisir d'être ici aujourd'hui pour féliciter les athlètes, pour vous encourager de bien compétitionner, mais surtout de vous amuser pendant que vous développiez des nouvelles capacités, des nouvelles amitiés. Merci beaucoup tout le monde. Thank you all so very much. Well, all in, thank you all.